أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. This salawat is for those who are hibernating, not even sleeping. Seriously, I need a salawat that wakes up everyone. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. To continue with the regulations of fasting, we will be talking tonight about the lunar moon or the sighting of the moon. You see, brothers and sisters, in Fiqh, according to Islamic tradition and literature, or jurisprudence, the lunar calendar that matters, not the solar calendar. For example, if I consider myself this age, I should calculate it based on lunar calendar, not the solar calendar. The lunar calendar always, it is 10 days shorter than the solar year. So this is the important point that we should keep in mind. Where is this applied? This is applied in several places. Number one, during Ramadan, based on sighting of the moon, we will start the fasting. And based on sight of the moon, we will have our Eid to end the Ramadan. So it is based on the lunar calendar. Also, the children, when the children become mature and ripe for fasting and the rest of the regulations, like when the girl becomes mature, that would be when she completes exact 9 years. That is done based on lunar calendar, not the solar calendar. And the same thing with the boy. Or when divorce takes place. When divorce takes place, the woman, the wife, should take 3 months and 10 days as iddah. She has to count before getting married to be released from her husband. That also should be done based on lunar calendar. There is an ayah that signifies this fact. It says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ قُلْ هِيَ مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ. They ask you about the moon, the hilal, the crescents, or the lunar calendar. Say those are some specific periods that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designated. Hajj is part of this program. The months that are considered to be sanctified, the 4 months, the Ashhur al-Hurum, again based on this one. Now, how do we make sure that a month has entered? The ulama give it 3 ways. Number 1 is by sighting. Someone, by his eyes, have seen the crescent. If the person sees the crescent next day for him, if it's part of Ramadan, he has to do the fasting. Or if it's at the end of Ramadan, he has to break his fasting, even if the entire world do the fasting. For him, he has to break the fasting because he has sighted the moon. This is number 1. Why? Because the Prophet, peace be upon him, has said, صُمْ لِرُؤْيَتِهِ وَافْطُرْ لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. Start your fasting with seeing the crescent, and end your fasting with the seeing of the crescent. Now the crescent goes like this. First day, it is born. After 7 days, it reaches half. You can see half of the moon. We can see half of the moon. After 14 days of this, on the eve of 14, we will have a full moon. The moon is completely full. At the 21st, again, the moon is divided in half. Half is dark, half is light. But just the opposite of the first half. Nowadays, if you see the moon, yesterday we saw the moon, the half moon. It was the right side that was light, the left side was dark. On the 21st, it becomes the opposite. The left side becomes light, and the right side becomes dark. And on the 28th, again, the moon goes into disappearance that we call it mahal, and reborns again. So, number 1 is by sighting. Someone who himself can see the moon or the crescent by his eyes. Of course, it should be by naked eyes. And he should have a normal vision, not a very acute vision that he can see from miles away. Of course, there is no such a human being. Alhamdulillah, due to, mashallah, so much sickness, illness, and pollutions, we don't get to see such kind of things anymore. It used to be. We had Zarqa al-Yamama, you know, she used to live long time ago, but nowadays we don't have such kind of people who can see from miles away. Anyway, either by themselves or a group of people, let's say 50 people, 60 people, all announce that we have seen the moon. And where you cannot say that they have all conspired to say this, meaning some people in east, some people in west, some people in north, all declare that we have seen the moon. That does not leave any doubt that it was, you know, a bogus claim or a fabrication. You make sure that this is a reality. You see, when someone comes here and says, for example, God forbid there is fire outside. Again, another person comes and says there is fire, and two people come from here and say there is fire. 10, 15 people all say there is fire outside. We make sure that there is fire. We don't go and ask them, how did you see the fire? So the same thing with the moon. Why? Especially when there are people who go to do the moon sighting. If two of them can see, the rest also can see. There is no, you know, no preferential between the two. That's number two. And number three, if it's two just people, meaning that they are believers and they are trustworthy, honest, they don't lie, they say that we have seen the moon, provided that they give the same, you know, data. They say that we have seen the moon, for example, this way or that way. At that time, the alim would declare this is Eid. There are other ways. For example, if it's proven in one country, do we follow? This is, you know, very controversial issue. Some of the scholars say yes, we can follow. Like Ayatollah Khoi, the late Ayatollah Khoi would say yes, we will follow, because in case the two countries share the same night, if both of them share the same night, then you can follow, the other country can follow. Some scholars say no, it should be seen in east, so west can follow. But if it's seen in west, east cannot follow. Or like Ayatollah Sistani. Ayatollah Sistani says that every region have its own horizon. North America have their own horizon. South America have their own horizon. The Atlantic is the same. Europe is the same. Middle East is the same. You have to go by a region. Wherever it's been cited in that region, the people in that region, they can break their fasting or start their fasting. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على